Over the last 10 months, there's been a range of emotions, from incredible sadness to incredible anger and everything in between. Today is about love and faith and community. Our community treasurer, Sergeant Steve Owen, served 29 years on the Sheriff's Department. He was honored numerous times. The best compliment I could give Steve is that if you met Steve just once, friend or foe, you would remember him forever. And great man, and thank you all for being here for him and his family. I have some introductions to make, and then we will hear from our speakers. From the State Assembly, Assemblyman Tom Lackey. We have Vice Mayor Marvin Christ. From the AVAC and Watermaster Board, Rob Parris. Councilmember Ken Mann. Councilmember Raj Mali. Representing Supervisor Barger is Donna Tremere. And then we have Karen Hochschild from Congressman McCarthy's office. We also have, and you'll hear from the family later, please give them a big round of applause, the Owen family, Tanya, Chad, Brandon, and Shannon. In the wake of the terrible tragedy, Mayor Parris said a lot of things, but one that really stuck with me was what it said about our community when we all came together, and I've carried that with me. So please help me introduce Mayor R. Rex Parris.
You know, this morning I was getting ready to do this, and I got up and I go down in the kitchen and I yell, Alexa, and I tell her to play James Blunt, which is somebody I like to listen to. And Alexa played No Tears right out of the box. And it was so fitting, I thought, because that song talks about somebody who was faced with challenges from almost the day he was born, but was able to overcome them and become stronger. And he lived a life that was rich. And it was, they talk about dancing with the angels while he was alive, And it's the person who's now passing and he's singing the song, Don't Shed Any Tears for Me. It was a wonderful life. And there was no doubt in Steve Owen's mind where he would go. None whatsoever. And none in the family's mind where he would go. For a community, he was incredibly enriching to all of us. You know, there's a lot of people we deal with day to day. And within the Sheriff's Department, but even within the community as a whole, there was no one who commanded such joy from the people who associated with him. Even the people he arrested had respect for him, because there was a love in him even as he went about his job as a police officer for other people. There was a recognition that things really don't matter. It's the day-to-day relationship we have with each other. And there was a responsibility he took to protect this community that was demonstrated time after time after time. It wasn't he was a hero at the end, although he clearly was. It was that he was a hero so many times before. He never hesitated to stand in the way of harm to protect us. And so I think it's fitting that we do what we're doing today and name this and memorializing him with this park. Because in cities, the one thing that lasts is the parks. You know, you've got to be a brave politician to tear down a park. It's there forever. And as long as there's a city of Lancaster, there will be a Steve Owen Park. He deserves that. His family deserves that. You know, his passing was a time of tremendous turmoil and sadness, and as Mark said, and rage, and the gamut of human emotions. This community was a dagger in the heart when this happened. We could never, ever acknowledge what you gave up. But I hope that this is a token of just how honored he is, and you are, as a family. Thank you.
When I was thinking about what I was going to say up here to speak about Steve, I promise I wasn't looking at anybody's crib notes, but I thought about community. I've been here about 4 months now, and truly one of the first things I noticed coming out here was a sense of community. For as big of a city as it is, there's truly a sense of community about it. It feels much more like a small town than it really is. And I thought how lucky the deputies are to work in a community that supports them so much. And then I talk to people in the community, and they tell me how much they appreciate what the deputies do. And I think, well, how lucky it is for us to have a community that realizes how important we are. And then it struck me also how hard everyone works here. Everyone's at the station here, whether they're sworn, civilian, there's truly a work ethic that's amazing. And they really are dedicated to the safety of the community, and most of them are part of the community. You don't see that in a lot of places, say in law enforcement. There's a tremendous amount of our employees that actually work here and live in the community. And I hear about Steve a lot, and I did a ride-along with Steve about, 20 some odd years ago when I worked custody. And I can even remember back then what an amazing guy he was and how dumb he made me feel. He was just a tremendous street cop, and he was pointing out stuff that I certainly didn't see. And like I said, one contact 20 some odd years ago, and I still remember it. Just amazing. And I have to agree that this is really a fitting tribute, because you hear over and over again about what a family man Steve was and how important his family is. And here we are at the park. And I think back to when my kids were small, what was the first memories I have of being a dad, and it was bringing my kids to the park. And I thought how amazing, what a great place it is to remember him and have young families bringing their kids and seeing these signs and be able to tell the stories. Well, this is why it's named Steve Owen Park, and this is why it's so important. So thank you all for coming. Thanks to the city and all the partners who made this happen. Thanks for supporting us as much as you do. It's truly incredible. And thanks to all my staff who treat the community as well as they do and support the community. It's such a symbiotic relationship. I've worked all over the county, and I haven't seen it as tight as it is here. And I think it really is an amazing community, and it's good for both sides. So thank you all for coming, and let's get on with celebrating the day.
Well, thank you, everybody. It certainly is a great honor to join you here today as we reflect on the great sacrifice that was made for this community. You know, one of the things about our culture is we do value symbols and symbolism. I'm reminded as we look at the great symbol of our country and the flag and what it represents, and it stands for so many different things. And I was not really close to the Owen family or Mr. Owen. I saw him on Deputy Sergeant Owen. I saw him on a number of calls. But what I am close to is what he was committed to, and that is public service. And when you look at the uniform that he wears, that is also a symbol, the badge that he wears. And there's so much symbolism that stands for so many things that we talk about, but it's more than just talk. It's actual commitment. And nothing signifies that more than the loss of life. There is no greater commitment. And so I'm thankful for the leaders of the city of Lancaster for acknowledging the great sacrifice in this way to remind us all of the sacrifice that many people make so that we can enjoy what we enjoy. And I'm very disheartened that we have to be reminded in this way. But since it's happened, I'm very thankful the way we're responding. And I thank each of you for being here today in the heat of the summer to show your support for this very, very unusual level of commitment. And so I'm very thankful to the city of Lancaster, to this community, to the Owen family, and to Sergeant Owen for this deep sacrifice. And hopefully we can always be mindful and be more appreciative for the great privileges that we enjoy here in this community and in this great country. So thank you very much.
Anyone who knew Steve knew how much he talked about his family and how proud he was. And we all talk about our families and we're proud, but with Steve it was truly different. You couldn't talk to him without that. And he was so proud of all of you, but you also made him a better person and a better cop. On that terrible October day, this family was healing the community. They were the ones that were hurt, yet they were the ones healing the community. And the level of strength is something that anyone's there will never forget. Representing the family to say a few words to you is their son, Chad Owen. Chad?
Obviously, as you all know, October 5th was, I'd say, for not only our family, but a lot of you, probably the worst days of our life. But I tell you one thing, I know our faith as a family has just grown tremendously. Something my dad instilled in us from day one was just putting Christ first in everything that we do. I just want to thank everyone here. I want to thank all the volunteers for setting this up. I'm so excited in a way and so hurt in another that we do get to call this Sergeant Steve Owen Park. I told myself I wasn't going to cry, but I probably will. And, I really do look forward to when the day my wife and I, or my brother, and our whole family, when we do have kids, that we get to go to Grandpa's Park, and it's just another opportunity to explain who their grandpa was and how he made us and how he was such a powerful influence and such a wonderful father and a great husband, a great leader, someone that we will always look up to, not only as just our hero as our dad, but a hero in the community as well. So again, just thank you everybody for all the hard work making this happen, and it truly is a blessing that we get to call this Sergeant Steve Owen Memorial Park. Thank you.
3, 2,